We're talking this morning with Dr. Thomas Herr, who is the Chief Executive of the Berlin-based TH Project Management, a specialist consultancy that focuses on identifying, monitoring and controlling its clients' real estate risks, both here in Germany and in neighbouring European countries. Dr. Herr, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the nature of your own business, TH Project Management.
Well, THP is a technical consulting firm for the real estate business. We are focusing our service according to the investment cycle of our clients in 3 pillars, which is one, and the biggest is transaction consultancy. That means technical and environmental due diligence. Second is project management, project monitoring in the development phase of a real estate. And the third one is technical asset management, which includes maintenance management, facility management consultancy, and tenant improvements. And all of the 3 pillars are bound together by one big issue, which is sustainability.
Obviously, the issue of sustainability is a big issue and has been growing here in Germany and around the world. But sometimes here we have the feeling that people are obsessive about the need for certification of all sorts. What do you feel about that?
I completely agree. I think that we have a misleading concentration focus on certification. If you look at the fact that we have roughly 19 to 20 million buildings in Germany and barely 500 of them being certified or pre-certified by LEED, BREEAM, DGNB, then you see that there is an unhealthy ratio between the two. Our approach is somewhat different. What we recommend our clients is to have a portfolio view, to look at their overall portfolio of existing properties, to identify the poor dogs and the top runners, and to develop an incremental strategy of slight improvements of carbon footprints, of energy efficiency, of water consumption, so that we start to get into a process of improvement which is being annually reported in sustainability reports.
Dr. Herr, perhaps you could give us some examples of these sustainability issues in practice.
Well, if you look at the certification processes, then you have roughly 60 to 100 questions to be answered by the auditors. And indeed, there's only 6 key performance indicators which, in my view, identify the sustainability of a property, which is the energy consumption, the water consumption, the CO2 emission, the waste production, the accessibility by means of public transport, and at last the tenant satisfaction, which can be measured by the fact of how satisfied they are with the environment of their working or with their working and living conditions. So this is like 6 factors which you have to focus on, and I think that brings you much further for the majority of the properties than looking at funny specific, very individual and very scientific points.
Dr. Herr, one of the key pillars of your business is project monitoring. And I know you take the business of sustainability reporting very seriously. Perhaps you could give us examples of companies that do this particularly well?
So the funny thing is that the German companies, I mean, it's basically an issue of all sorts of companies, be it listed, be it non-listed, be it public, be it private. But of course, the transparency of the listed companies is almost the biggest one. And if you look at companies like British Land or Land Securities, they have a long tradition of sustainability reporting based on GRI standards and on very kind of regulated reporting standards. And if you look on the German market, then there's barely 2 of the listed property companies having this sort of sustainability reporting, which is Alstria Office REIT and which is the IVG, where we've been proud and lucky to help them with their first annual sustainability report last year, which was also highly appreciated in public. And I think that there's a large field of business for us, but more important, a large field of of work to be done for the companies, for the property companies, to be more transparent, to know where they are standing, and to develop a strategy as for these incremental improvements, which I was talking about earlier.
Is this an issue generally for the listed sector, or would you say
No, it's not
property companies are faced with the same?
Absolutely
the same
not. It's an issue of all property owners, but of course, the public eye is more on the publicly listed companies, and I'm a bit sad that especially the public companies, I mean public in terms of communal or state-owned companies, that they don't develop a sense for being front runners in this issue. The state is putting a lot of focus on energy efficiency in residential housing, but when it comes to kind of a role model generation of how to behave in sustainability matters, then the public or the social housing companies, the communal companies, are really not the ones who are in the first place.
So, what strategies would you recommend then for developing a more sustainable and carbon neutral real estate?
Well, we have developed together with partners a toolkit or a toolbox of different strategies which start from low investing strategies to higher investments. First point would be to intelligently use the existing technology, to educate the people to use the technology. Things as simple as switching off the light when you don't use it. Second step would be to purchase regenerative energy for your building. Third step would be higher investment in energy sufficient technology when it matches the maintenance cycle of the properties anyway. And the fourth point is to use voluntary certificates, compensation, carbon certificates to compensate your still existing greenhouse gas emissions, with a development where over time the cost for compensation will be reduced by more energy efficient use of your buildings, all with the thinking behind that we cannot afford to invest as much in energy efficiency as necessary to come to the goal of a carbon neutral real estate, but our environment surges us or forces us to have quick wins, to have a quick reduction of the greenhouse gas emission, so that we probably have to make use of additional tools such as compensation.